Well, this is Guns, Knives, and Watches, which with the HK Conspiracy knives from Benchmade and Heckler & Koch. Anyway, everybody knows about Heckler & Koch. It's just the way it is. It's a really, solid company, been making weapons for, ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And, Benchmade, everybody knows about Benchmade knives. And the Heckler & Koch brand through Benchmade is actually made not in the United States, but in China. That's not new news, okay? They even publicize it on their website. These knives have been discontinued, and I just want to go through the design and manufacturing processes, and I'm going to tell you, because they're discontinued, I have them on loan basically for $45 for the G10 titanium folding compromise or conspiracy, and then I think $36 for the Tonto knife. Now, these are not my knives. I'm not taking them apart. I'm not this, that, or the other. So this is just, I'm going to give you a brief thing of why they were actually probably discontinued and kind of move through the process and show you some competitive options and ones that haven't been discontinued and why. Now, the folding knife, of course, G10, sculpted out, has really good traction on that side. Titanium, it's rounded, no real sharp edges. It's a frame lock design. The clip, you only have one choice, right hand, tip down carry. You have thumb studs on both sides. Your frame lock comes in. You have a positive lockup. It's very early lockup. Would I prefer it to have a little more contact? Probably. But titanium wears. Anybody that has like a Chris Reeves, Sabenza knows that these frame lock designs, and it's really cold where I'm at right now, so the oil on this one's kind of just tend to wear. Now, are you going to wear one out? Probably not. But there are some other features and other things that you really need to be aware of. Now, let's put the Chris Reeves over there. I'll give you a direct size comparison. This is the Ascender. This is the Chris Reeves Sabenza. In length, they're probably very similar, but they are much, much different in about every other form factor. Which, this is a very expensive knife. This isn't. I'm not trying to compare the two and say they're equivalent, because the Sabenza is a tremendously good knife, and I'll go through a few options and a few things about why it's such a good knife. Now, it's also a right hand carry, frame lock design. It's tip up carry. Whether you like it tip up, tip down, that's totally up to you. But I'll tell you some of the design elements that this knife doesn't have, which takes it from a $100 knife to a $400 knife. Now, everyone who has a frame lock design that's titanium knows that there is the possibility of you overstressing the titanium when you actually unlock the knife. Okay? There is absolutely, I can take this and very easily move it, okay? Which is good. Now, this has a little steel ball there on the inside of it that acts as a detent when it's closed. Very positive closure. It won't fall out, this, there, the other, Very thick blade. I think it's 0.67. .067, whatever, sorry. And, it's beefy. You got big hands. It's got a little choil there. Da 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 da. The jimping, of course, doesn't work, but it fits in my hand really well. If I was to hold it like that, I wouldn't hold a knife like that. I would hold it like this, but that's just me. I don't like knives being knocked out of my hand. Here's what I don't like about the knife, and this is probably why they discontinued it. If you open the knife, and I've had no problem opening it, no problem this, there, the other, da 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 da. If you go to unlock it, it takes and you can hear the noise, it takes an unusual amount of force just because there's a mechanical lockup here. Okay, and of course it's not doing it on film. I'm hugging a camera, but under stress, you open this thing, or you open it quickly, it's hard to actually unlock. So to solve that, I basically do that. That way I don't overstress it and don't this, there, or the other. Don't break the knife. That's something I don't like. You don't have to pay $400 to be able to easily unlock a knife. A competitive option would have been the Buck Vantage. This is the paper stone version. They have, a lot of different versions. Very easy to unlock. I mean, this isn't, it's not really rocket science. And of course, this is the one that I've modified, and I put actual jimping on the flipper just to make it easier to flip out. So anyway, so this is in a different version. They have a select version that has plastic on it, about a $30 knife, something like that. I'll give you another example of a competitive option, and the Tenacious in blue. Okay, very easy to open. Also made in, this knife is made in China. Now the Vantage was made in the United States, but the Tenacious, very easy to open, very easy to close, phosphor bronze bushings, da 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 da, and really good construction. The Chinese have done really good at this. Of course, they've been through a lot of iterations of the knife and have changed the design over time. But it's very popular, very affordable, good knife. And believe it or not, this knife and this knife were really the same exact price, okay? So I would, tend to go more towards that knife. Another problem I have with this knife are the bushings in it. They have a black Teflon nylon type bushing. I'm sure they went with the black coloration just because it would look weird if you did something else. But that's my problem with this particular knife. And as you could hear that mechanical lockup of the actual lock itself. Now let's get the Chris Reeves out of there. Now let's talk about the Tanto, whatever you want to say. I don't care. I actually like this knife quite a bit more. Now, my knife did not come with a malice clip. Did I freak out about it? No, because there's a tremendous number of malice clips that I have around here, and of course this knife is not going to stay here. It's going home. But it's .07 thick. That's thick piece of steel. And I'm probably getting these thicknesses wrong because it really doesn't mean anything to me. You can look up the specifications on the internet. But we have our G10 scales, of course, same design as the folder. We've got our big choil here, which I like. I don't like coming forward on a knife. It's a little thick through here. It could have been thinned down a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean just a little bit. A few millimeters probably would have really helped the design out quite a bit. as far as being a more usable knife for people. But, you know, it's solid construction, this, there, the other. The sheath holds it really well. You get a little bit of movement there, but you've got a huge handle there with those scales on it. It's just, you know, it's beefy back here, you know, in the back end of this knife. Center of gravity's somewhere in here. Can I tell you, you know, somewhere back of where I would really like it. So it doesn't really flow really well in my hand. The Tanto design, whether you like it or not, it exists. It goes really well through specific types of materials and this, there, or the other. And for a $30-some knife, I guess that, you know, that can be $36 knife. I guess that could be, you know, acceptable. But as I said, I'm not keeping either one of them. They're both going back. And this is why things get discontinued. It's small stuff. It's maybe the center of the balance point of this knife is too far to the rear. Maybe, you know, this, there, or the other. Of course, the jimping is about useless on both of them, but they have that rounded jimping type setup. But you can fix that with a Dremel tool if you really wanted this particular knife. But it's really handle heavy. I mean, I can't. It's just really handle heavy. So, you know, probably fast out on the front end. You know, because there's really not as much weight there. But, you know, your hand being, your finger, okay, being forward of the balance point makes things be quicker in hand, because it's just the center of gravity is in your hand, not out here in the thing. If you want a chopper, you want the center of gravity being on the past your hand, out here onto the knife somewhere. If you want something to be very fast, you do it the other way. They went a little far on this one. I really like neutral balance knives, but that's neither here nor there, where the center of gravity is more towards at least the center of my finger, but that's neither here nor there, and this has gone on 12 minutes, but I'm just telling you kind of why these knives got discontinued by Benchmade. I'm not telling you to go out and buy them. In fact, I'm not buying them. So, but I thought I'd give you the heads up and talk to you about them. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches. Have a good one.